All right, now my mic's on. All right. So those of y'all coming in, shout yourselves out in the comments section. Let me know where you're checking in from. Let me know your location. Shout your location out. Whether you're watching this on Facebook, you're watching this on IG, and you're watching this on Facebook, you're watching this on IG, or if you're watching this on replay, you don't have to shout out your location, but sometimes people do it anyway. So as y'all coming in, shout yourselves out. This is Dre Baldwin. I'm checking in from Miami, Florida, and it is hot. This is my kind of weather, though. It's 83 degrees. It's hot. It's humid. It's sunny. This is my kind of weather. I like this kind of weather. So shout out to Nashville, Cashville, Tennessee. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, former 9-year pro athlete, author of 33 books. I've done 4 TED Talks, created this whole brand and framework called Work on Your Game. What we do here is real simple. We take all the tools that athletes use, that we teach athletes to get to the top 1% in sports, and we translate those tools over to the business world to help entrepreneurs perform at a high level, to do it consistently, and then to make money from it. All right, that's what we help people do. All right, so you want to know what we do at Work on Your Game? I just told you. Perform at your highest level, be consistent at performing at a high level, and because of that, you're going to make more money. So if that sounds like what you want, you're in the right place, you're talking to the right person. So Maria said you almost done that 5 years. That's what's up. Shout out to everybody who did that 5 years of dribbling drills. Now, after the 5 years, now you got to go to 10 years after that. Then you got to keep going. I started doing those dribbling drills when I was like 19. And when I made that video on YouTube, I was mid-20s. So I've been doing it for probably about 8 years by that time. But shout out to everybody doing those dribbling drills. Shout out to Andy from Cali. Any of y'all who's not in my text community, let me put my number in here now. Sometimes I put it in at the end. I'm going to put it in now. If you want a motivation text message that I send out for free every single day, I'm going to put this number that you should text me at so that every day when I send out this text, you will be receiving it. I just put it in the comments there, so make sure y'all catch that before it disappears. So what we're going to talk about here today is entrepreneur disciplines. These are entrepreneur disciplines. All right, these are not entrepreneur suggestions. All right, these are not entrepreneur maybes. These are not entrepreneurs. These are nice things that you could have maybe possibly one day. These are disciplines that you need to have in your business as an entrepreneur. These are things that any of you can do. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Doesn't matter how many customers you got. Doesn't matter how much success you already have created or how much success you do not have. These are disciplines for being an entrepreneur that you need to be doing on a consistent basis. Okay, so I got 9 of these, so I'm not going to take a ton of time on each one, but we're going to get through all 9 of these. I want to make sure you understand what these are because you need to be applying these to your business on a consistent basis. Everybody with me? Okay, so this is for all entrepreneurs. And I'm going to articulate things you should be doing consistently to keep your business running smoothly, whether your business has 1,000 people working there or there's only one person and that one person is you. The things that I share in this series are applicable to any business and any industry. Point number 1, watch the money. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to be watching the money. You remember that album Jay-Z and Kanye West together? It was called Watch the Throne. Okay, this album is called Watch the Money. If you're an entrepreneur, your album is called Watch the Money. This is what you need to be doing all the time. You need to always be watching the money. Why? And some of you might say, well, sometimes entrepreneurs, they're always talking about the money. They always just focused on money. What about other stuff you do in entrepreneurship besides money? Well, listen, if it ain't about the money, then why are you in entrepreneurship? Why are you in entrepreneurship if it ain't about the money? We go into entrepreneurship because we are figuring that we can solve a problem better than it's already being solved. And because of that, we're going to make money our way. And with that money, we create the freedom to do whatever it is that we want to do. And usually that freedom is time freedom and decision freedom. Make our own decisions, do what we want to do, how and when we want to do it, and wherever we want to do it. We have time freedom. Many people start becoming entrepreneurs because they don't want to take orders from a boss. Some people don't. Some people become entrepreneurs because they want to have the time freedom to spend time with their kids. Some people become entrepreneurs because they were just getting run ragged at their job. They were making good money at their job, but they're getting run ragged there, and they don't really like the fact that the job is just using them up and soaking all the equity out of them. They're like, or sucking all the equity out of them. They're like, why don't I just make the same money running my own business, and then I can do things how I want to do them. So you're trying to create freedom. Usually entrepreneurs become entrepreneurs who's looking for some form of freedom. And when you have freedom financially with the money that you're making, then you can pretty much do what you want to do. You can call your own shots in life. So even if money is not your main driver and it's not for everybody, we still need money because everybody needs food, clothing, shelter, right? So you need to be watching the money. And He said, you gotta get your bread right. Yeah, you gotta be making the money. You're an entrepreneur. You should be watching the money at all times, all day, every day. You should be watching the money, meaning you should know as an entrepreneur, where's the money coming from? How much money did your business generate today? How much did it generate yesterday? How much are you expecting to generate tomorrow? How much have you done so far this month? How is that compared to last month? What have you done this quarter compared to last quarter? How are you doing so far this year compared to at this same point last year? You should know these things. And any of you ever watched the TV show Shark Tank? Any of you ever plan on being an entrepreneur? You should watch Shark Tank, because Shark Tank, on that show, what you hear is a whole bunch of seasoned entrepreneurs. Those are the sharks, Mark Cuban, Damon John, all those guys. And they ask a bunch of questions that seasoned entrepreneurs ask about running businesses. They ask a bunch of questions about the numbers, about how you getting your customers, about how much this costs, how much that costs. And when you notice the questions that they're asking, they are telling you the kind of things that as an entrepreneur, they're expecting you to know. And being that they have a lot of experience, and these guys are also, they are very successful. And by successful, I mean they made a lot of money, because in business, I mean, the most common measuring stick in business is money. Doesn't mean that's the only thing that matters, but it is the most common measuring stick. You should be listening to what people who have created success are asking and thinking about when they're looking at businesses, and you need to check yourself and make sure you're looking at those same things in your business. So when you watch Shark Tank, you know the most common mistake that people make there is they get on there, they don't know their numbers because they're not watching the money. And most of the time, the numbers are involving money. So they'll ask them, how much revenue have you done this year? How much did you do last year? How much revenue have you done total? How much does it cost for you to acquire a customer? How much does it cost for you to, if they're selling a physical product, how much does it cost to create one of these? And then they're thinking about, how does that compare to the other people that they know? Will this person be able to compete in business? What's your margin? Meaning every time you make a sale, how much money do you actually get to keep, as opposed to how much it costs you to make that sale, to market, to create, to ship, to get the product into somebody's hands, to get it on shelves. These are all things that they expect you to know as an entrepreneur. These are all things that you should be thinking about. And the challenge for many of you as entrepreneurs is that you're not even aware that you don't know these things. You're not even aware of the things that you don't know. We call this unconscious incompetence, when you're not even aware of your own ignorance. And when you're unaware of your own ignorance, you can't do anything about it. And that's why the first point is you got to be watching the money. And this is why I told you to watch Shark Tank, because on that show, you're going to learn a lot about the things you should know about that maybe you don't know about. Or instead of just watching TV, where you might get distracted, what you could do is come join Work on Your Game University, where everything I just spit off the top of my head, I will explain to you exactly what you need to know about your business, specifically how to calculate these things, how to get them in order, and how to make sure that they're looking the way they're supposed to look, so your business can run the way you want it to run, so you're making the money you want to make and living the way that you want to live. So if any of that sounds good to you, you need to go to that link that you see in the comment on Facebook or the pinned comment on IG, which is workonyourgameuniversity.com. And understand, watching the money is your job, even if you have an accountant, even if you have a bookkeeper. Everybody caught that, right? So if you have a bookkeeper or an accountant who manages the money, it is still your job to watch the money. All right, any of you ever heard a story of someone who had an accountant or a bookkeeper and they still ended up going bankrupt or going broke or losing a whole bunch of money? And you know why that happens? It happens because the person who was supposed to be watching money, the entrepreneur, your accountant is not supposed to watch your money. You are supposed to watch your money. The entrepreneur wasn't watching their money, and the accountant starts stealing the money. You know why accountants steal money? It's either incompetence or maliciousness. They notice that you're not paying attention, so they start stealing because you ain't paying attention to the money. This is what happens to people. You ever hear of an athlete or an entertainer going broke, even though they sold a bunch of records or had a big contract? It's because they weren't watching the money. They were not doing their job of watching their own money, and then somebody else took their money because they weren't paying attention. Don't let that be you. Doesn't matter how much money you have, by the way. All right, you don't have to be a millionaire to need to be watching your money. All right, no matter how much you got, you can make $50,000 a year, which is a little bit over the average salary in the United States. You need to be watching your money. All right, you should be watching your money even more because you got less to lose. Number two, we're talking business and entrepreneur disciplines. Number two is organized effort. What's organized effort? Organized efforts means you have a plan. It means you have a plan of action. You are not just randomly doing stuff and hoping that it works out. There's organized effort. You know the simplest way to have organized effort is to have a plan for what you're going to do on a daily basis. All right. Today I'm recording this on a Thursday. What are you doing tomorrow? Anybody here know what you need to get done tomorrow? Do you already have it written down? Do you have it in your to-do list? You got it on your calendar? Do you know exactly what you are doing tomorrow? You know what you need to do next week. Organized effort means you are organizing your work. You are not just showing up and doing stuff and hoping that it works out. You have an actual plan, a strategy. And Work on Your Game University, we focus on 4 areas: Mindset, strategy, systems, and execution. The bulletproof mindset. And I'll talk about that later. Strategy, we talk about this in the business builder framework. That is a strategy for how you are actually running your business. A strategy is simply a plan of action. Many people have no plan of action. Even though this is a simple concept, many people have no plan. They just show up, do stuff, and if you're talented enough, maybe some of it actually works. That's the most dangerous part, is when you have no plan and you just do stuff and you actually get success, because then you start to delude yourself into believing that I don't need to make plans. I can just go off my talent, and that works until it doesn't work. And then when it stops working, you got a problem. All right, you're in a world of trouble at that point. All right, it doesn't matter how many people work in your business. There should be organized effort. There needs to be organized method to your efforts that you put towards a specified, intended for outcome. All right, so if you go to the gym, somebody who goes to the gym on a regular basis, any of you watching this, and they're in good shape, usually it's because of organized effort, meaning they show up to the gym, they know what they're going to do before they get there. See, somebody left a comment earlier in this live was saying, Dre, I've been doing those dribbling drills you put out. I put that video out probably damn near 15 years ago. Understand that every day when I went to the gym, when I was doing those basketball videos on YouTube, every day that I went to the gym, I knew what I was doing before I got to the gym. I never got to the gym and then figured out, all right, what am I going to do today? Even to this very day, when I go to the gym, I know what I'm doing before I get there. I never show up to the gym and just figure it out. I never sit down at this desk and just figure out what I'm going to do for work. I already know what I got to do. I got everything written down. Everything is planned out and documented. What's happening now? What's happening next? What's the next thing that I got to do? All of those things are planned out. And organized effort is a hallmark of a true professional. And understand, again, doesn't matter how many people work in your business, how much money you're making, you need to be organizing your efforts, not just randomly doing stuff. Everybody got that? Good. Number 3, we're talking entrepreneur disciplines. Number 3, controlling your calendar. Everybody knows what a calendar is, right? Anybody unfamiliar with the concept of a calendar? Okay. What's a calendar? Calendar is something that tells you the date and it tells you the time. And what you can do with a calendar, here's the beautiful thing about a calendar, is that you can put in all the stuff that you want to do into the calendar. And because it's finite, meaning it's only 24 hours in a day, it's only 365 days in a year, you got to prioritize what's the most important thing you want to get done, and you got to fit everything into the calendar. That's why you got to control your calendar. Why does controlling the calendar matter? Because controlling the calendar is a sign that you are organizing your efforts. Everybody follow? This is the reason why you want to have everything in the calendar, because the calendar forces you to make decisions about priorities of what you're going to do, what you're not going to do. It forces you to put them in time slots, which when am I going to do it? Not just what am I going to do, when am I going to do it? And then you have to keep that organized, and then you got to follow what the calendar says. See, let me show y'all my calendar. This is my calendar. This is a Google calendar. All right, you see all those bars and all those different colors? Or you watching this on Facebook? Or you watching this on IG? This is my calendar right here. I'm showing you this to let you know that my efforts are, this is a sign of organized effort when you're using the calendar. Listen, the calendar app is free. Putting things in your calendar is free. Any of you can do this. Question is, are you doing it? That's the question. Are you doing it? Anything that you're doing in your business should be on the calendar. So even if you work by yourself, everything should be on the calendar. So you know, all right, it's 11 o'clock. What I got to do now? Look at your calendar to tell you what to do. You should not be, it shouldn't be 12:30 in the afternoon. You're like, I don't have anything to do. What should I do? That should never happen if you're a true professional. All you got to do is look at your calendar and it tells you what to do, because everything you're supposed to be doing is on that calendar. If somebody else works for you or with you, they should be able to see your calendar and know exactly where you're at and exactly what you're doing at any given time of the day. Why? Because it's all on the calendar. This is one of the easiest ways to start using organized efforts, especially if you have multiple people in your business. You want everybody's work on the calendar so that everybody knows what everybody else is doing and where everybody else is supposed to be. And again, calendar apps are free. All y'all got phones. Calendar app is free. Download one, start using it immediately. Start implementing what I just told you. Number 4, we're talking entrepreneur disciplines. Number 4, entrepreneurs have short and long-term plans. I already told you a strategy is a plan of action. And I'm talking on a daily basis, but also on a long-term basis. What do you plan on getting done in quarter 2 of this year? What do you plan on getting done in quarter 3? What are your goals for the whole year? What are your goals for the next 5 and 10 years in your business? What are your lifetime goals in business? If you've never thought about these things, you need to take some time with your phone off, the music off. No, don't listen to any podcasts. Take the AirPods out of your ears and actually sit down and think about, where am I going? What am I trying to do this year? What do I want to do this quarter? What do I want to do in the next 5 years? Where do I want to be 10 or 20 years from now? You need to be thinking about these things, because as long as you're alive, knock on wood, these times are going to come whether you want them to or not. So you might as well think about what exactly you're doing and where you want to be by the time you show up there. You don't want to show up there not knowing what to do. Successful people are goal setters. They set goals ahead of time and then they go to work on those goals. And people who don't have goals can't score. If you can't score, you can't win. If you can't win, then you can't succeed. If you can't succeed, then you have to fail. You have no choice because you haven't set goals. So thinking about what your short and long-term plans are make you eligible to be a successful individual. And the reason why many people come up short is not because they don't have the ability or skill or opportunity or talent, simply because they fail to set goals. And when you fail to set goals, you're setting yourself up for failure because, again, you can't score if there is no goal. So what are your short and long-term plans? You should know. You should have them written down. They should be committed to paper so you can actually look at them and see them. These are not things that you just hold in your head. These are things that you can look at and see, and they're written down. You can look at them every single day so you know what the North Star is, your compass, which is your long-term goals. And then on a short-term basis every day, you're doing things that are getting you closer to reaching those goals. Number 5, we're talking entrepreneur disciplines here. Number 5, you avoid distractions. I call it avoid distractions, but what I more accurately call this is you find focus. So you don't try to avoid the negative thing. You don't try to get away from the negative, because when you focus on the negative, you get the negative. Instead, you want to focus on the positive. What's the thing that you actually want? Not focusing on staying away from the thing that you don't want. So the thing that you want is focus. So sometimes people ask me, Dre, how can I stay away from distractions? And I correct them and tell them, no, don't try to stay away from distractions. Instead, try to find focus. So I just called it that because I know many of you will relate to this. Focus is a force multiplier, meaning the longer and stronger you can remain focused on anything, the better your results will be in that thing. No matter how talented or untalented you are, the longer you can stay focused on something, the better results you will produce. So if your talent level is down here or your talent level is up here, the longer you can stay focused on something, the better you will do relative to how you would have done if you weren't focused. Everybody understand what I'm saying? So you got to find focus. And guess what a great way to find focus is to have a goal. When you have a clearly defined goal that you've committed to paper, then it's easy to focus because the goal is telling you exactly what the outcome is that you're trying to get to. If you don't know your outcome, you don't know your goal, then it's hard to get focused because, well, what are you going to focus on? You got a bunch of random things you could possibly choose to focus on because you haven't chosen your focus. And again, focus is chosen. It's not something that just randomly happens to you, everybody. So you need to be consistently thinking about, what is my focus? What am I trying to do here? Now, remember that discipline is created by structure. Structure is not created by discipline. So if you want to be more disciplined in your life, what you need to do is put a structure in place, which will allow you to be focused because the structure tells you exactly what to do. You focus on following the instructions of the structure, and then you will be more disciplined. Discipline is a byproduct of structure. Structure is not a byproduct of discipline. So you get the distractions boxed out of the situation because the structure and your systems act as guardrails to keep distractions out, similar to how when you're riding on the highway, you got that big concrete median that keeps you from veering into the other lane and slamming into another car at full speed. This is what structure does. It's a guardrail that keeps you from getting out of control. It keeps you focused on the main thing, whatever the main thing happens to be. What is the main thing? It's written down in your goals. You should know what the main thing is. Just look at your goals just to tell you. Number 6, we are talking entrepreneur disciplines. Number 6 is self-care. Yeah, so even though we're talking about business, even though we're talking about being entrepreneurs, you need self-care. Self-care is the time that you take to take care of yourself. This is the time you spend eating, sleeping, exercising, taking care of your mindset, your mental health, whether you do yoga, meditation, you do some kind of mindfulness exercise, spending time with your family, your spouse, significant other, whoever it happens to be, doing things that fill up your tank so that you can go to work and you can empty the tank and giving value to your customers and your clients and to your audiences. So you need this time for self-care. I start my day every day at about 3:45 a.m. and the first 4 hours of my day is all self-care material. 3 to 4 hours is all self-care stuff, meaning yoga, meditation, drinking water, exercising, foam rolling, shower, shave, get dressed. What's the other things? Go to the jacuzzi, have my protein shake, drinking even more water. I'm doing all of that stuff the first 3 to 4 hours of my day every single day. So I don't just wake up in the morning and start working. So when I'm awake at 4 in the morning, I'm working out. It's the first thing I do every day as I work out. Very first thing every single day is workout. I do yoga, meditation, and then I'm working out. Whether I'm going to a gym, whether I'm running outside. If I'm traveling, sometimes I might just do a quick workout in the hotel room. But whatever, I'm starting my day with a workout every single day. That is non-negotiable every single day, no matter what. Even if I got to catch a plane early in the morning, I wake up earlier so I can get something quick in. Even if I just do some yoga for 10 minutes, get something quick in, and then I'm getting dressed and getting out of there, getting on the plane. But I always start my day with self-care. Why is this? Because self-care matters a lot. Because if you don't take care of yourself personally, it's going to be hard for you to take care of anybody else. You can't serve your audience if you're not serving yourself. So look at self-care as a requirement, a necessity, not a luxury. Working out and taking care of yourself and eating good and all of that stuff, those are not luxuries, folks. Those are necessities. They are requirements. It's like if you are trying to teach, it's like I teach discipline, structure, discipline, systems, strategies, and accountability in my university. So if I'm not, and not discipline, mindset was the first, I should have said mindset, said discipline. But if I'm teaching those things to people like you, but I'm not disciplined enough or structured enough to take care of myself. Like, what if I was 100 pounds heavier and I'm out of shape and I'm looking like I'm a Big Mac away from a heart attack? How can I teach you anything about strategy and systems? Clearly, I can't even use it on myself. If I'm not using those things on myself, how am I qualified to teach it to you? I'm not. I was reading this article. Andrew Tate had written this email. He said, how can I teach you to escape from the matrix if I look like I'm the type of person who can't escape from a hamburger? All right, so if you're out of shape physically and people see you, they're looking at you, they see that you're out of shape, they're looking at you a little bit, they're looking at you kind of funny style because they're like, well, how can this person teach me anything about discipline when, look, this guy is not even disciplined in terms of what he put in his mouth, what he drinks and eats. How's he going to teach me about discipline with my bank account, with my money, with the way I'm running my business? He can't even be disciplined at that. All right, so understand that this is going through people's minds even if they don't say it to you. So you want to make sure you're taking care of yourself. And when you show up, when you walk in the room, people should look at you and say, all right, I don't know this person, but they look like they take care of themselves. They look like they know what they're doing. They look like they have themselves under control, so they might be able to help me. All right, they're eligible to possibly help me. Number 7, we are talking entrepreneur disciplines, and I'll take questions at the end if anybody got me. Number 7, entrepreneur disciplines. Install systems that work harder than you. The systems in your business should work harder than you work, meaning you want to have processes in place that every day when you go to work, doesn't mean you don't do any work. It means when you go to work, you are not every day figuring out what to do. It's not every day you have to reinvent the wheel and pull a rabbit out of your hat. It means every day what you do is look at what the system tells you to do and you simply follow the system. So any of you ever been to McDonald's? If you have, you should not go again because McDonald's is not quality food. But if you've been to McDonald's, we all have. Understand that anybody can work in McDonald's. Why can anybody work in McDonald's? Because the system is so tight that it doesn't matter who works there because all they had to do is follow the system. The system is so tight that any idiot can work there and the system is going to have them produce the same result that if you put a genius in there. So you put an idiot who flunked out of the 3rd grade in McDonald's, put them next to somebody with a PhD from an Ivy League college and put them next to each other on a fry machine. The fry is going to come out the exact same way no matter who did it. Why is that? That's because the outcome of the fries has nothing to do with the intelligence of the individual working the machine. It has everything to do with the system that produces the fries. All the humans do is follow the system. So you see how the system is doing more work than a person. All I got to do is whatever the system says. And this is why McDonald's is a minimum wage job, because you don't really have to have much intelligence to do the job. So if you're trying to make more than minimum wage, don't work in McDonald's. All right, so you got people out here protesting they should make more money, but they're doing a minimum wage job. Doesn't make any sense. That's a different conversation for a different day, but you get my point. So what you need to do here is have systems in place in your business. And in Work on Your Game University, everyone who comes to the university, I teach them how to install systems in what they do. So anything that you want to do in which you're producing the same result over and over and over again, we show you how to create a system for that thing so you can produce that result every time, not just randomly. So let's say you produce a great result. You got a great client and they paid you and you got exactly what you want working with that person. They got a great result. Now we're going to figure out how do we do that every day? Not how do you do it once a month? How do we do it every day? How can we get that outcome to happen all the time, not just happening randomly? So if any of you is interested in that, you need to go to workonyourgameuniversity.com because we got programs in there to help you do this and take things to the next level. Understand every high level business is operated by a system. Apple operates by systems. Amazon, systems. Whole Foods, systems. Name another company. Smart Water, systems. Mars M&M, systems. All the companies that have been around for a long time and they're very successful. They operate by systems. Toyota, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Cadillac, they all operate by systems. They have systems. That's how they can have so many people working there. And the process is relatively similar no matter where you go, because they have systems in place and everybody is operating by the system, not just doing what they want to do. Number 8, we are talking about entrepreneur disciplines. Number 8, have a process for keeping your mindset in peak condition. What does that mean? Process for keeping your mindset in peak condition. Over here at Work on Your Game University, we call that the bulletproof mindset. And the bulletproof mindset is not something that you do. Bulletproof mindset is something that you are. And there's a difference between mindset being what you do and who you are. I posted a reel about this just yesterday night. Having that process is super important because mindset is the foundation of everything you do. It is the foundation of, if you're a mediocre performer right now, mine is because of your mindset. If you're a high level performer, it's because of your mindset. And if you're a low level performer, it's because of your mindset. Anyone you find who is a high level performer, ask them, how much does mindset have to do with your success? Guaranteed they're going to tell you it's 90% of it or more. And now if you ask a mediocre or low level performer, how much of your mediocrity or your low level performance is due to mindset? They probably don't want to admit it, but they know it's the truth. Mindset is everything, folks. So you need a process for making sure your mindset stays exactly where it gets where it needs to be and it stays there. Mindset is not something that you do just one time. You read a book or you watched a YouTube video or you saw some motivational speaker at a conference and they got you all hyped up. You need more than that if you want to keep your mindset in a peak state. And that's what the bulletproof mindset is about. It's about getting into that peak state and staying in that peak state. And this is something that as an entrepreneur you need to do, because as an entrepreneur, often you're on a lonely road. It's you by yourself, and whatever happens, you are responsible for it, whether it's working or whether it's not working. This is why you need a process for making sure things stay exactly where they need to be. So this is why you come into Work on Your Game University. The very first thing you're going to get is the bulletproof mindset. It's the first place everybody starts. Is we start with the mindset. Then we go into the strategy. Then we go into the systems. Then we go to the accountability. Many people think, well, Dre, all I need is some accountability. I already know what I want to do. Often they don't know what they want to do. We're going to start with the mindset, because when the mindset is there, then we can plant seeds in some fertile ground. And then we can grow the trees of the strategies, the systems, the accountability, the execution, the money you want to make, the customers you want to have, the programs you want to create, the offers you want to sell, etc. Everything else you want to build on top of it. Well, we got to build on solid ground. And the solid ground is you having that bulletproof mindset. If you have a weak mindset, I can give you all the tools, all the strategies, all the systems, all the ideas in the world, and it will not produce anything. Why? Because you planted a seed on rocks. You can't plant a seed on rocks and expect plants to grow from it. It doesn't work. You can't plant a seed in concrete. So we got to plant it on some fertile soil. That's the bulletproof mindset that we put in place. And again, this is about conditioning your mind. This is mental conditioning. This is not just something that you do one time. Hold on. They got my delivery coming here. Hello, is it delivery?
Hello, is it true? This is Counselor Guillermo. Do you have a food delivery message?
Yeah, just send them up, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so number 9. We're talking entrepreneur disciplines. Number 9, build and maintain a network. A network. What is a network? All of you heard the saying that your network is your net worth. You heard that before? It's not always true. It's not always it's not an exact proportional relationship, but it does matter a lot. And yeah, I'm a person that you've heard me say this all the time. We're in a collaboration era. Collaboration era means the people who have the most opportunity right now and making the most happen are the people who have the most relationships, the most quality relationships. Not the smartest people, not the person with the most degrees, not the person with the most, not even necessarily the person with the most money or the person with the most ideas or the hardest working individual. None of those is the thing that gives you the most opportunity in the era that we live in right now. Era we live in right now, where we have social media, where everybody is kind of interconnected. And remember, it used to be 6 degrees of separation. Now it's like 3 degrees of separation. The most important thing is having relationships to where you can make a phone call, you can send a text message, you can shoot off an email, and you get a response from somebody who can help you solve a problem that you otherwise cannot solve by yourself. That's a network. Everybody heard what I just said? That's what a network looks and sounds like. When you have a network, you have a problem that you need to solve, you can make a call or send a text and you can get it solved by somebody who can do something that you can't do. They know somebody who you don't know. They have a skill that you don't have. That's what you need in life. You do not need to be able to do everything by yourself. Right? You do not need to be all knowing, all perfect, all doing everything on your own. This is one of the biggest misconceptions that a lot of people have about being an entrepreneur or being tough or strong or the bulletproof mindset. They think that means you got to be able to do everything by yourself. Now, it doesn't hurt for you to have more skills, because that means you can fill in gaps, and it also means you know exactly what you're looking for when you need somebody. But at the same time, you only got 2 hands, 2 eyes, 1 mouth, 1 brain, and you can physically only be in one place at a time. So there are limitations on you as a human being. But when you have a network, let's say you're in Philly and you got friends in New York, and you got friends in Vegas, you got friends in LA, you got friends in Miami, you got friends in Atlanta, you got friends in Detroit, you got people in Chicago and people in Houston. Well, you can get something done in all those places at the same time. Why? Because you know other people who can help get things done. I'm just taking care of something right now. So you must have, everybody, you must have a network. You need a network, and you should always have a network. You should never, ever, ever be trying to do everything on your own. This is bad business. It will slow you down. You won't be able to get everything done on your own, even if you try, no matter how hard you try to work. You got to be putting time into building relationships. Now, how do you build relationships? How do you actually meet these people? This is why you join masterminds. This is why you get into coaching programs. This is why you go to live events, also known as conferences. This is why you do these things. All right. This is why you go to places where there are other people who are about something, are all congregating. You want to go to these kind of places. So when you see me go to events, when I go to events, I hang in the lobby because I want to talk to all the other people who went to the event. I want to meet the other attendees. I'm talking to the person to my left, person to my right. You might not be able to talk to the person on the stage because everybody wants to talk to them. And they might try to block themselves off so they don't have everybody in their faces. I want to meet the attendees. I want to meet the people who bought tickets. Why? Because some of those people are going to be part of my network moving forward. I always want to expand my network. And there is no downside to having more positive relationships with people who are about something. If you saw my reel that I posted yesterday, there are 3 levels of people. There are people, low-level people talk about other people. Average mind people talk about events, and high-minded people talk about ideas. You want a whole bunch of idea people with you. So let me ask you a question. Who do you have in your phone right now that you could call and that person can have a conversation where y'all exchange ideas? You talk about your ideas, they talk about their ideas, and they're open to that conversation, and you're open to that conversation. And those are the kind of conversations you have with that person. You're always talking about new ideas. If you don't have people like that in your phone, then you don't have a strong network. You got a bunch of average people in your life. And let's be clear, most of the average people you know are people you know by default. Your friends, your family members, friends you grew up with, family members that you have no choice but to be connected to, your coworkers, and the people from your neighborhood that you grew up at. Those are most of the people that most people know. Most of those people are average individuals. Why? Because by definition, most people are average. So I already know most of the people you know are average. Most of them can't help you go anywhere. And so honestly, you need to stop talking to them so much. Just keeping it real with you all. All right, so let me recap these points right here. Anybody got a question, put it in the comment section. I'm going to recap these points really quick. We're talking entrepreneur disciplines, things you need to be doing consistently in your business. Number 1, you need to be watching the money. You run a business, you should be watching the money. Number 2, organize effort. That means you are not just randomly doing stuff. Number 3, control your calendar. Calendar is the easiest way to start organizing your day and your life. Number 4, have short and long-term plans. Successful people always operate by goals and plans, not randomly. Number 5, avoid distraction. You find focus. You know exactly what you're doing, where you're going, and how you're getting there. Number 6, self-care. You do things to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you are unqualified to take care of or help anybody else. Number 7, install systems that work harder than you. You should not be doing all the work in your business. The system should be doing the work. All you do is what the system tells you to do. And you just follow your system. Even when you got a big business, the system should be doing most of the work. Number 8, have a process for keeping your mindset in peak condition. We call this the bulletproof mindset. Every entrepreneur needs a bulletproof mindset because entrepreneurship is not just up and to the right. There are challenges in entrepreneurship. There always will be, no matter how good or successful you are. And number 9, the last one, number 9, build and maintain a network. You have connections, you have relationships, you got people who you can call, text, and you can get a response that's actually going to help you get to where you want to go. And you don't have to do everything yourself when you have a network. If you're doing everything yourself right now in life, that's because you ain't got no friends. You need to make some friends who actually have some power, have some ability, and have some agency. They can actually get things done. And you need to be that type of person to other people. So you got to be a person who can get things done. They got to be people who can get things done so they can use you when they need it, and you can use them when you need it. Those are the kind of circles that you need to be building, not just a bunch of people that you talked to about the basketball game last night. All that said, anybody got a question or comment, put it in the comment section. We are talking entrepreneurial disciplines, and I'm going to go through and see if I got any questions that I need to address here. Topic again, entrepreneurial disciplines. Any of you want to learn more about how to do these things, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That is the only place you can get coached by me. That's the only place you can work with me directly. And we have multiple programs that we are always expanding and adding new stuff to what we have at Work on Your Game University. But if you want to work with me, you must go to the university. That's the only place where you can do it. So let me see. Daily motivation text as well is 305-384-6894 is where you get the daily motivation text straight to your phone every day for free. That number's in my bio as well. Question is, would avoiding distractions, not necessarily distractions, fall under structure or self-care? Would avoiding disruptions fall under structure or self-care? Well, I don't really care really where you put it, as long as you're following all 9. Let me see. Anybody else? All right, nobody else left a comment. So I guess we hit everything exactly where it needed to be hit here today. Again, workonyourgameuniversity.com. That is a place where you work with me directly. Any of you want to work with me, you want to be coached by me, you want to get into my programs, the only place to do it is at workonyourgameuniversity.com. There is no other place to work with me, only at workonyourgameuniversity.com. That link is in my bio on Instagram. It is the pinned comment here on Facebook. All right, everybody. I ain't see no other comments here. So we're going to put this replay. It'll be up on IG. It'll be on Facebook. And we'll put it on YouTube as well. Everybody have a great day. Work on your game. Got it.